In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Hello and greetings. Muhammad Sulaiman Ahmadzai is here with a new session for you, dear friends. After opening it, we have something called the interface. The interface refers to the appearance of the program. This top part of the program is called the title bar. Title bar. It's also called the caption bar. Caption and title are both in one. The in one bar. Here, our in one is divided into two groups by the separator. This part is called the application title. The program's in one. This part is called the page title. Page title. Our page title remains as untitled as long as it hasn't been saved. Whenever our file is saved with you, it will take that same title for itself. If we save this file as Ali at that time, the title Ali will be shown here. And this is what they call the page title. Page title, and this is called the application title. Program title. This is called the Microsoft Notepad logo. The logo or emblem of the Notepad program. When you click on search, a menu opens up. This is called the system menu. This menu opens in these areas with a right click. Even here, if you click, it will open. Well, it opens a bit differently. In this menu, we have the system menu bar, which also includes the control box in this section. It's also called the control box, and it refers to the options panel. They recognize the close button. It has restore, maximize, and minimize. We have the same functions here as well. Well, I had already explained the system menu to you before, whether you open it from here or from there. It does the same thing in every software. Whether you use the mouse to work with it, restore, move, size, minimize, close, or whether you use the keyboard. If you press Alt plus space, the window will be restored. Alt plus space plus M is used for moving the window from that same menu. You can do it with the keyboard without using the mouse. Alt plus space plus S is used for resizing. With the help of the arrow keys, Alt plus space plus X is used for maximizing. Alt plus space plus N does the minimize action. So what does Alt plus tab do for us? In the standard mode, it restores the window, and to close it, we can press Alt plus space plus T, or we can use another shortcut we learned called Alt plus F4, which we can also press. There's even another shortcut for that. Alt plus FX does that action. All three of them close the program. When you're inside the Notepad software, these shortcuts we've mentioned here can also be used with the mouse up to this point. In Windows 11, when you move your cursor over the Maximize button here, several small windows pop up here. Before I restore it, it shows you the move options. For example, if you click on one, the window moves to the corner of the screen. If you click on the other side, it can have 4 or 5 tiles. This feature is only shown in Windows 11. In Windows 10, it works, but it doesn't show it here. It works with a shortcut. For example, if I press the Windows key together with the arrow keys on this program. For instance, if you press the down arrow once, it restores the window. Then if you press the up arrow, it maximizes the window. Restore, maximize. If I click again, it minimizes. Which one? You hold the Windows key together with the arrow keys. The Windows key with the arrow keys. And if we hold the Windows key with the right arrow, what does it do? Pins the window to the right side of the screen. But if, for example, we hold the left arrow again, it restores the window. We click again, pins it to the left side again. We can do this with a shortcut. But in Windows 11, when you move the cursor here before clicking, you see a window pop up. Whichever one you click on, it performs that function. These are the multitasking features we worked with here that fit to the screen. If we want, we can also do this with the mouse. With the mouse, for example, you grab it from the top part here. If you stick it to the top, it will maximize. If we snap it to the right, well, in this case, it restores and our other window opens up and we can choose it. Or if we want to, we can snap it to the left. After that, we click here and it shows both windows side by side at the same time. Besides that, I had mentioned these things to you here. Side by side, stack or cascade, when we click on this, it does that action. After that, this section is called the menu, which we will learn about. Menu. This whole thing is called the menu bar. The menu bar. Inside the menus, up to this part, each individual item is called a command. Command, instruction. Again, these are called built-in shortcuts. These are called non-built-in shortcuts. Actually, both of them are built-in. Built-in means made. Built-in shortcuts are Control plus N, Control plus Shift. Here it says N at the bottom. Non-built-in shortcuts are those that aren't used much by users. For example, when you press Alt, it tells you here that if you press the N key, in this case, if you press the N key, it will go to page 9. If we press this page, it shows a little underline beneath them. These are called underline shortcuts. Those that have an underline shortcut below them, for example, what's the shortcut for save? There's a little line under the S. No, I'm talking about its built-in shortcut. Here, it has another shortcut. There are little lines under some of the letters. That's called an underline shortcut for it. So if I press the letter S here, what happens? It saves. These are called built-in shortcuts. That's how it works. Like I said here, when we talk about built-in shortcuts, these are the underline shortcuts here. Below them, for example, under this one, it's taken the W, under that one, it's taken the O, under this one, the S, and under that one, the E. For page top, it's taken the U. For print, it's taken the P. So the job of built-in shortcuts is that, for example, you specifically hold down Control, Shift, or Alt, and then one of these letters. The built-in shortcut is that when you press Alt, the letters for each option automatically appear here. So if I need the Help menu, I press its letter. If I need the View menu, I press View's letter. For Format, it's the O. Why hasn't it taken the F? Because we already have one. For example, if a menu has only one letter in common with us, it takes its first letter. Like here, Edit, View, and Help all take the first letter. But for Format and File, since there are two, one takes one letter and the other takes the other. What do you call these? What are these called? These are called shortcut keys or keyboard shortcuts. With this underline shortcut search, we can figure. Once you use it, you don't need to memorize anymore. For example, I open page top. Alt, F, U, click, anytime. Alt, F, U opens page top. So we've covered that part. We've also talked about the commands. They're called built-in shortcuts, and the ones with underlines are called non-built-in shortcuts. For underline shortcuts, you just press Alt, and then the options will show up by themselves. Exactly, in these commands, you see that with these lines, they've grouped or categorized them. For example, the lines group together 4 or 5 commands that have similar functions. They've organized them into groups. For instance, when you go to the Send and Section, it's grouped together with Copy, Paste, and Delete. They've put it in a different group. The Search and Find section is placed in another group. Each of these lines creates its own category. What do we have here? This lower bar is called the status bar. The status bar is here, and its name is also written as status bar. When we are sure vertically something gets activated on the right side called the vertical scroll bar. The vertical scroll bar lets us scroll the page vertically, and if our text becomes too wide horizontally, in this Python, the horizontal scroll bar will also be activated. Try to note that this part is the horizontal scroll bar. This is called the horizontal scroll bar, which lets us scroll horizontally, and that one is called the vertical scroll bar. The vertical scroll bar is the one that works vertically. The term means that the text should be long enough for scrolling to happen. We can also do this with the scroller, but what happens if we take control of its code? It performs the zoom in and zoom out functions. Some of us have it in our pool. In these newer versions of Windows, we also have something called zoom, which can be done with the shortcut Control+. Control- is used for zooming out. The plus control is used to zoom in. Zero control returns to its standard state. The standard mode here shows that it should be 100%. A place where 100 is displayed is the standard mode. If we press Control+, this can also be done in this zoom. It shouldn't be 170. For example, zero control, where we zoom out this much. For example, it's at 20 degrees. That means it should be at the standard. Zero control shows the same 100 degrees. When we right-click, this menu is called the context menu, and we place our cursor somewhere. For example, if we bring the cursor over the saddle, it shows its name. Here it says maximize or restore, and that page is called a screen tip. There's something else here. Try to notice this little icon that lights up, which is called a keyboard cursor, and this icon that we move with the mouse. It's also called the mouse cursor. This is called the mouse pointer. These are called mouse cursors. And again, this one here is called the keyboard cursor. Wherever the keyboard cursor is, that's where you can type. That's where it happens. At any point, like here, the keyboard cursor is on the third line. It's in the middle of the third line. When I type, it types right there. That means it doesn't matter where the mouse cursor is. What matters is where the keyboard cursor is. So wherever your cursor is, that's where typing will start. The amount of blinking, when it blinks like the cursor flickering, can be set to be faster or slower, just like the thickness of the line can be set to be thinner or thicker. Again, we can adjust the mouse and keyboard settings. If the caps lock key is on, we type grama. It will be written in uppercase. The caps lock is off, then whatever we type will be written in lowercase. We can do the same thing with the shift key. If we hold down shift and type something, it will be written in uppercase. If I release Shift, the letters are written in lowercase. The Shift key does that. Most of the time, people typing something use the Shift key. They use it. They make the first letter uppercase, then release Shift, and the rest turns back to lowercase. All of it. We also need backspace to delete the text letter by letter. For example, if you're in a place, let's say this is a sentence. It's like your cursor is stuck. Right where your cursor is stuck, if you want to delete from the right side, you press delete. It deletes the text letter by letter from the right side. Whereas if you press backspace, it deletes the text letter by letter from the left side. But when you press delete, it removes one letter from the right side. If we want to select all of it, we press Command or Control plus A. Then we press delete. It gets deleted. Now let's talk about Enter. For example, it moves us from the upper level to the lower level. If you want, for example, when you're writing grammar and you've written a noun and want to add a definition here. Now, before you move on, you want to use a separator here. The separator. Some people, for example, use these symbols. This group separates the text above from the text below, or for example, they use the equal sign. That is, as a separator, or they use a dash. For example, this way it looks better. A straight line is used. Shift underscore. We hold down Shift and underscore. We hold down Shift and dash. We make a straight line. So then we come and add the next grammar, for example, called verb, and again we press Enter. For example, we provided the definition below. Again, we press Enter. Okay, now we want to have a separator for the grammar, and for example, we add another grammar. For example, pronoun, we press Enter and provide its definition. So the grammars we studied today, we say, come here. The computer is here for us. So we only use the separator here as a divider. And finally, dear friends, we ask you that if you found the videos useful, please like the videos to support us and help the channel grow. Subscribe to the channel and see you in the next sessions. Goodbye.